Hey everybody, this is an early morning live vlog, but this information is too important to leave sit. And I mean, far too important. And so I'm going to post this one more area on, and I mean, far too important, too important. And so I'm going to post this one more area on and Facebook, and then we'll commence to getting to this information, which I think you'll agree when you see it is rather disturbing. And the people I've shared it with preliminarily agree that it is interesting, to say the least. Now, there, putting that on Facebook there. And one more area. Get ready. Here. Excuse me. There. And okay, let's have at it, as they say. All right. Sure. Keisha, listen. Before, yeah, okay. As of now, while it is not official, Oakland District 4 Councilmember for this year, Sheng Thao, has overtaken Oakland District 6 Councilmember Loren Taylor by 680 votes when ranked choice voting tallies are added by the Alameda County Registrar of Voters. Councilmember Taylor started out 4,252 votes to Councilmember Thao's 39,654 votes for first choice. But when rank choice voting votes were added, that changed to 56,841 for Sheng Thao versus 56,161 for Councilmember Taylor. But what's interesting is what is behind the reason for Sheng Thao's rise. An outsized number of ranked choice voting votes for Sheng Thao from fellow candidate Allyssa Victory. And folks, this is something that had been an occurrence throughout the week, not just Friday. In fact, if you look at Zenny62 on YouTube, you will see me mention Alyssa's outsized giving to Sheng in 3 of my videos prior to this one. And then I note the percentage exchange of them in 2 of them. Now, let me continue. All right. Let me continue. Now, of Allyssa Victory's 14,047 votes to share, 8,378 went to one person, Sheng Thao. And that's almost 3 times what Ignacio De La Fuente received from Allyssa Victory, or about 59.64% of the total ranked choice voting votes Ms. Victory had to give. Got it? The question is, why did that happen? Well, in 2010, Rebecca Kaplan and Jean Quan famously teamed up to run for mayor of Oakland in the first year ranked choice voting was used. They campaigned for months, folks. The final outcome was that Jean Quan got 2/3 of all second place votes, and the spread was directly attributable to their team up. In fact, I remember, and I have a video that goes to that the day, 3 days after the election day and into the next week, we were waiting for the runs to complete for ranked choice voting, right? And John Russo had predicted that Don Parada would be the mayor of Oakland because he had received 35% of the first choice votes. And John said famously, and the only way that Jean Quan will overtake Don Parada is if she gets 2/3 of the second choice votes, and that ain't happening. Well, it did happen. I remember John called me and said, Zinni, take that down. I said, John, no, you're a genius. John was our city attorney at the time, first elected city attorney. So we have a lot of history with this sort of thing. This is different. All right. This is different. Okay. But the first time, the reason for Jean's win was directly attributable to the fact that Rebecca and she went around Oakland tandem campaigning for months. They didn't do this at the last minute. All right. All right. This time in 2022, it's different. Sheng Thao and Allyssa Victory did not campaign together for months. And on top of that, get this. I asked Allyssa Victory early on in the week if Sheng Thao was her second choice. And she said, and I quote, no, Greg Hodge was. Okay. Greg Hodge. But we both agreed that perhaps it was Sheng mentioning that Allyssa was her second choice. But think about it. Allyssa being the second choice would mean that Allyssa would have to get a lot more votes, right? And if that's the case, Allyssa Victory should have picked up a large number of Sheng Thao ranked choice voting votes, and that never happened. Okay? This is what happened. Listen. A shockingly uniform, meaning the same each day pattern, roughly, of votes was transferred from Allyssa Victory to Sheng Thao, 59.64%, rounding to 60%. That was true for the most recent run and the one the day before it. Okay? Moreover, that Allyssa Victory was giving the majority of her votes to Sheng Thao in a giant-sized batch is a pattern I noticed from the second day of ranked choice voting runs all the way up to Friday, yesterday. This is Saturday morning. It was consistent. I didn't check the percentage early on, but I would not be surprised if it came up to about 60%, as it looked to me at the time, even before as an eyeball, during the eye test, right? I find it very, okay, that's weird, all right? That's weird, okay? All right, that is just wild. I find it very concerning that the same 59.64%, rounding to 60% percentage of votes, was shared from Allyssa Victory to Sheng Thao for each of these runs. I hate to say it, but that looks fishy, as if someone were pre-picking votes for Sheng using a code that broke off roughly 60% of the votes each time and then dumped them in the Sheng's column on a spreadsheet. That's how it looks. All right. And you have to ask the question, why the uniform outcome on a per run basis? I mean, that's to be investigated. Okay. It is way too weird, especially since Sheng was not Alyssa's second choice and their names were not even next to each other on the 2022 Oakland election ballot. Stay tuned. All right. So it's okay. Keisha says, help me understand something because I'm confused. Waiting for your question. She says, regardless of who wins or not, something doesn't seem right to me. No, something definitely is not right. Hey, Dave, I'm tired. But I am concerned about how this looks because, again, that all these votes were dumped from Allyssa to Sheng, and yet Sheng was not Alyssa's second choice. In other words, Alyssa had not put Sheng as her second choice, and they hadn't campaigned heavily together anywhere. They did not have an official team up like, for example, Loren did and Treva. Okay. Even though Loren's and Treva's was late, they should have done it months before as opposed to weeks. But that's another conversation, although it is related. Okay. But to have something, each run you're looking at like 60% dump, it's like someone's pushing a button. It's too uniform. Why does it have to be even like that? I mean, there really should be an explanation for that. What's up with that? All right. Okay. What's up with that? And to round all of this out, this is the latest in a string of events that altogether do not put our city in a good light. Because it's not just this, but there's also these claims. I haven't seen the video, all right, regarding the idea that Sheng had walked into city clerk's office late, but the lawsuit alleges that the timestamp was adjusted in her favor so she could get her signatures in on time. Okay. I had the attorney making that case on my show. All right. And then, of course, there's the other issue of Leanna Powell, who was an employee in Sheng's office, but was literally bullied to work on the campaign. So you start taking these episodic looks at improprieties and putting them together, it really makes me concerned. I don't know about you. I am very concerned about our direction as a city. And this is something that we need to straighten out. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnowblog.com. Stay tuned for more.